So, you see skeletons, marigolds popping up, right after the jack-o'-lanterns, and you think, ah, Mexican Halloween. Got it. It seems simple, right? Same time of year. Skulls, skeletons, people gathering, special food, festive air that feels familiar, decorations blending together in supermarket aisles, calling Dia de los Muertos. Mexican Halloween is like calling a lion a big, stripy house cat. Same family, missing the point. Let's bust this myth. Halloween. Thrill of being scared. A fun night of fantasy and fright. Kids as monsters. Kids as superheroes. Kids getting candy from strangers. Dia de los Muertos is not about fear, love, memory, celebration. Halloween's story begins over 2,000 years ago with a people called the Celts. They lived in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, northern France. Their new year started on November 1st. The night before, October 31st, they celebrated a festival called Samhain, pronounced Samhain. They believed that on this night, the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead became blurred. This made it easier for ghosts and spirits to cross over into our world, which was both a magical and a slightly scary thought for them. The Celts thought these visiting spirits could cause trouble, like damaging their crops. But they also believed that the presence of these otherworldly visitors made it easier for their priests, the Druids, to make predictions about the future. To celebrate, people would light huge bonfires and wear costumes, often made of animal heads and animal skins. The costumes were not just for fun, they were a way to either fool the spirits or to disguise themselves from any malevolent ghosts. They would also leave food and drink out to appease the spirits and hope for a safe winter. Later, as Christianity spread, the church wanted to replace these pagan festivals with its own holidays. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III moved All Saints' Day, a day to honor saints and martyrs, to November 1st. The night before this holy day became known as All Hallows' Eve, which eventually got shortened to Halloween. Many of the old Samhain traditions, like bonfires and dressing up, simply merged with the new Christian observance. The focus shifted from appeasing spirits to something a bit more playful, but the spooky undertones remained. Dia de los Muertos has roots that go back even further, to the indigenous peoples of Mexico, Aztec, Toltec, Nahua. For these cultures, death was not an end, but simply another phase of life. They believed that the souls of the departed continued to exist and could return to visit the living. Instead of grieving, they celebrated the lives of their ancestors. They held rituals during which they honored the dead and left offerings for them. Some of these traditions, which could last for an entire month, have been practiced for at least 3,000 years. When the Spanish arrived in the 16th century, they brought Catholicism with them. They saw the indigenous rituals honoring the dead as pagan and tried to stop them. But the traditions were too strong and deeply embedded in the culture to be erased. As often happens, the two cultures began to merge. The indigenous festival honoring the dead was eventually moved to coincide with the Catholic holiday All Saints' Day, All Souls' Day, which fall on November 1st, November 2nd. This created the hybrid tradition that we now know as Dia de los Muertos. The core belief of Dia de los Muertos is that on November 1st and November 2nd, the spirits of the dead are granted a brief window to return to the world of the living. November 1st, known as Dia de los Inocentes, is dedicated to the spirits of children who have passed away. November 2nd is for the spirits of adults. This is not a sad or scary time. It is a joyous occasion, a grand family reunion that bridges the gap between life and death. The celebration is filled with vibrant colors, music, and food, all designed to honor and delight the returning souls. So, while Halloween's history involves keeping spirits at bay, Dia de los Muertos is all about rolling out the welcome mat for them. The holiday is a testament to the resilience of indigenous culture and its ability to adapt and thrive. It is a beautiful expression of the Mexican belief that our relationship with loved ones does not end with death. Instead, it continues through memory, celebration, and the annual tradition of welcoming them back home, even if just for a couple of days. The entire event is a loving tribute to the circle of life. Yeah. On Halloween, the main activity for many is dressing up in costumes. Children and adults alike transform into witches, ghosts, vampires, or their favorite movie characters. The goal is often to be scary, funny, or creative. This tradition comes from an old Celtic belief about Samhain. Wearing a disguise would help you blend in with roaming spirits, protecting you from them. Today, it's evolved into self-expression and fun. People go to parties, go door-to-door trick-or-treating, shout trick-or-treat, all to get candy. Dia de los Muertos is not about dressing up. It's about setting up for your guests, the spirits of your ancestors. Families build elaborate altars, or ofrendas, at home and at cemeteries. They aren't for worship. They are welcome stations for the souls of the dead. Every ofrenda item has meaning. A photo of the deceased sits in a prominent spot. Candles are lit to guide the spirits home. Water is left to quench their thirst after the long journey. Halloween costumes are for the living. The ofrenda is for the departed. Families place favorite foods and drinks on the altar. A grandfather's favorite tequila, a child's beloved toy, pan de muerto, bright orange marigolds, cempasúchil, create a scented path. Petal paths lead spirits directly to the altar, so you can see the fundamental difference. Food is a huge part of Halloween, but it is mostly about one thing: sugar. The main event is trick-or-treating. The goal is to collect as much candy as possible. Chocolate bars, gummy worms, lollipops, sour candies fill plastic pumpkins and pillowcases. Traditional treats like candy apples and pumpkin pie versus commercially produced sweets dominating stores. The food is for the living, a reward for dressing up and being brave. A night of indulgence and fun for kids and adults. In contrast, food during Dia de los Muertos serves a much deeper, more spiritual purpose. It is made for the living to enjoy, and as a primary offering for the spirits. The belief is that the souls of the dead can absorb the essence and aroma of the food. That is why families go to great lengths to cook their ancestors' favorite dishes. A grandmother who made the best mole will have a steaming plate of it waiting for her on the ofrenda. The food is a gift of love, a way of showing the spirits they are not forgotten. One of the most iconic foods of this celebration is pan de muerto, or bread of the dead. This is a sweet, anise-flavored bread, often decorated with bone-shaped pieces of dough and dusted with sugar. It represents the deceased and is a staple on every ofrenda and family table. Another famous treat is the sugar skull, or calavera. These are intricately decorated skulls made of sugar, often with the name of a deceased relative written on the forehead. They are not usually meant to be eaten, but serve as a colorful, artistic reminder that death is not something to be feared. After the spirits have had their fill of the food's essence, the living family members then share the meal. They gather at the ofrenda or in the cemetery, telling stories about their departed loved ones and enjoying the feast. This act of sharing food connects the past with the present, bringing the entire family, both living and dead, together at one table. So, while Halloween candy is a fun, temporary treat, the food of Dia de los Muertos is a bridge between worlds, a way to nourish both the body and the soul with memory and love. The most recognizable symbol of Halloween is undoubtedly the jack-o'-lantern. The tradition of carving vegetables dates back to Ireland. Carved spooky faces into turnips, carved spooky faces into potatoes, carved spooky faces into beets. These were placed in windows, or carried to frighten away wandering spirits, particularly a mythical figure named Stingy Jack. When Irish immigrants came to America, they found that the native pumpkin was much larger and easier to carve. The pumpkin became the go-to vegetable for this tradition. Its glowing, mischievous grin is now synonymous with Halloween night. For Dia de los Muertos, the most important symbol is the cempasúchil, or Mexican marigold. This vibrant, bright orange flower is often called the flower of the dead. Its strong, sweet scent and brilliant color create a sensory path guiding spirits to the ofrenda. Petals are strewn from the cemetery to the front door, so souls don't lose their way. The flower's color represents the sun, life, and hope. Another key symbol is the calavera, or skull. Unlike scary Halloween skulls, these are whimsical and colorful. Sugar skulls on ofrendas, masks worn during parades, illustrations of La Catrina, an elegant skeleton lady in a fancy hat by José Guadalupe Posada, originally a satirical drawing mocking Mexicans who adopted European aristocratic styles. Today she's a beloved icon, reminding us death is the great equalizer. These symbols show the emotional difference between the holidays. The Halloween pumpkin creates fun and fright for the living, a decoration. Marigolds and calaveras are functional, symbolic tools for remembrance. The flowers guide the dead. The colorful skulls celebrate a joyful acceptance of mortality. One set scares spirits away, the other lovingly invites them in. Here is a little-known fact about Halloween. Trick-or-treating as we know it is a relatively modern invention, becoming popular in America in the 1930s and 1940s. But its roots are ancient. In medieval Britain and Ireland, a practice called souling involved the poor going door-to-door on All Hallows' Eve, offering prayers for the dead in exchange for soul cakes. Another precursor was guising in Scotland. Children dress up, go house to house, receive food, receive money, perform a song, perform a poem, perform a trick. It wasn't always about threatening a trick for a treat. Dia de los Muertos also has fascinating details that many people don't know. For example, the celebration is not the same everywhere in Mexico. In the state of Michoacán, particularly on the island of Janitzio, families spend the entire night in the cemetery. They hold a candlelit vigil, decorating the graves, and singing songs until dawn. In other regions, the focus might be more on home ofrendas, public parades. This shows the holiday is a living tradition that varies based on local customs, blending indigenous heritage with regional flair in unique and beautiful ways. Let's talk about the skeletons. The iconic image of La Catrina, the well-dressed female skeleton, was not originally part of the ancient tradition. She was created by Mexican artist José Guadalupe Posada around 1910 as a political cartoon. His point was that even the rich, who copied European fashions, would eventually become skeletons just like everyone else. It was a commentary on social class. It was only later, thanks to artist Diego Rivera, who included her in a famous mural, that she became the Grand Dame of Dia de los Muertos, a symbol of a joyful and elegant approach to death. And what about those beautiful sugar skulls? While they are now a famous art form, their origin is practical. In pre-Hispanic times, real human skulls were used in rituals to honor the dead. The Spanish Catholic priests found this horrifying and banned the practice. As a creative solution, people started making skulls out of sugar, a resource introduced by the Spanish. This allowed them to continue their tradition of honoring death with a skull symbol, but in a way that was more acceptable to the new colonial powers. It is a perfect example of cultural adaptation and resilience. Understanding the difference between these holidays is more than just a fun fact. It is a matter of cultural respect. Halloween, for all its ancient roots, has become a largely secular and commercial holiday in many places. It is a billion-dollar industry of costumes, candy, and decorations. For most people who celebrate it, it is a night for fun, parties, and community bonding. Its meaning is found in the joy of participation, the shared thrill of a scary movie, or the laughter of children comparing their candy hauls. It matters because it provides a shared cultural moment for lighthearted fun. Dia de los Muertos, on the other hand, holds a much deeper spiritual and cultural significance for the communities that celebrate it. It is not just a party, it is a vital connection to family, history, and identity. This tradition reinforces the bonds between the living and the dead, ensuring that ancestors are not forgotten, but are kept alive through stories and rituals. It is a way of confronting mortality with grace and even joy, teaching younger generations that death is a natural part of the life cycle. To mistake this profound event for a mere Mexican Halloween is to erase its sacred meaning. This holiday is so important to Mexican culture that in 2008, UNESCO recognized it as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This designation acknowledges that Dia de los Muertos is a precious tradition that must be preserved. It highlights the holiday's role in maintaining social cohesion and cultural identity. It is a celebration that affirms life and demonstrates a unique worldview that has been passed down for centuries. It matters because it is a living, breathing expression of a people's soul, their history, and their understanding of the universe. Respecting this tradition means seeing it for what it is, a beautiful, complex, and heartfelt observance. It means not reducing its symbols, like calaveras, to just another spooky costume for Halloween. When cultures borrow from one another without understanding, they risk turning meaningful rituals into empty trends. By taking the time to learn the story behind the marigolds and the ofrendas, we honor the people who keep this tradition alive. Marigolds and the ofrendas. We show that we value their culture not as a costume but as a rich and meaningful part of our shared world. In the end, both Halloween and Dia de los Muertos are powerful ways that humans deal with one of life's biggest mysteries, death. They both happen in the autumn, a season when the world around us is changing and the nights are growing longer. This time of year naturally makes us think about cycles, endings, and what might lie beyond. Both holidays use food, special decorations, and community gatherings to mark this unique time. They each provide a way for people to come together and confront ideas that can be scary or sad. However, they walk down two very different paths to get there. Halloween chooses the path of fear and fun, turning the scary things in the dark into a game. It keeps spirits at a distance with masks and mischief. It is a night of escapism, a chance to be someone else and get a thrill. Dia de los Muertos chooses the path of memory and love. It closes the distance between the living and the dead, inviting spirits back home with open arms. It is a time of deep connection, a chance to remember exactly who your family is and to celebrate them. Neither tradition is better than the other. They are simply different, born from unique histories and worldviews. One is not a version of the other. The spooky fun of Halloween has its own charm and place, just as the heartfelt remembrance of Dia de los Muertos has its own profound beauty. The real treat is to understand and respect both. By seeing them clearly, we do not just learn about holidays. We learn about different ways of being human and the many ways we find meaning in life and in death. So this year, as the leaves fall and the air gets crisp, let us appreciate both traditions for what they are. Enjoy the spooky delight of a jack-o'-lantern's grin. And also, admire the loving beauty of an ofrenda covered in marigolds. They are two different stories told under the same autumn moon, each with its own important lesson to share. One teaches us how to laugh in the face of fear, and the other teaches us how to embrace memory with a full heart. And both make our world a richer place.